Hey there, tech fans. Rick here again with another gadget that I think you're going to really like. It's the brand new Simorr Wave U1 condenser desktop microphone from our good friends over at Simorr. Now, if you're looking for a quick and easy way to immediately improve the audio quality of your next gaming session online or your next conference call, this could very well be the product for you, because what Simorr has done has built a really nice microphone that's not very expensive but has audio quality capabilities you'll find on much more expensive microphones in a tiny little package that takes up almost no space on your desk. The best part is the unit's plug and play and gives you total control over both the volume levels of the microphone as well as instantly muting and unmuting the microphone just by tapping the front. Now, before I get too deep into the overview, I always like to start with an unboxing on any new product I'm talking about just to show you exactly what's included with the kit, and then I'll spend some time explaining what separates this from other microphones on the market. I'll actually take a closer look at the unit and explain all the buttons and knobs and connectors so you understand exactly how to use it, and then I'll come back and do some testing with this on my laptop and compare it to a couple of other microphones that are on the market today so you can judge for yourself what the audio quality sounds like. So let's get started with the unboxing. There's not a whole lot in the box. When you pop open the box, you'll find the microphone. You'll find a USB cable. It's got a USB-C connection on one end, which plugs into the microphone. And on the other end, it's got both a USB-A and a USB-C connection. Now think about that. You're going to plug this into your laptop. If you have a USB-C port open, you can plug it in there. But if you have an older laptop or don't have a USB-C port available, they build an adapter into it to convert it to a USB-A. Now what Simorr has done is really thought about every aspect of designing this product correctly. And this is just one little thing that I've picked up on that could be a headache for you if you've got an older laptop and all they give you is a USB-C cable. Also on that cable is an inline 3.5mm plug that you can attach a headphone to so you'll get inline audio of what you're saying over the microphone in your headphones. So they've really thought of everything from a connection perspective. Also included is a full instruction manual that explains exactly how to use the microphone with any computer out there, whether it's a Windows system or a Mac OS. You can even use this with certain Android phones that support microphones through the USB-C connection. All right, so that's pretty much it for the unboxing. Now you can mount this microphone a couple of different ways. They built a really nice base that's heavy, a little bit heavy. It's weighted, so it's not going to knock over easily. But you can also vary the position of the microphone and it stays where you leave it. Now you attach that to the base by screwing it on, but you can also attach this if you've got a boom arm to a 5/8 threaded stud. So you can put it on a boom arm as well, but I like it on the base like this. And you'll use it on your desktop. And again, it's got a cardioid pattern on it, which means it's going to reject sounds from behind it, and it's going to pick up a nice envelope of sounds in front of it. It's also got internal shock resistance, which means if you're dropping things on the desk or you've got a bad habit of tapping your nails on the desk, it's going to depreciate those sounds and pick up the audio quality from your voice. You'll want to talk directly into the front of it, not through the top of it, and that's where that cardioid pattern is developed around that front edge of it. There's a couple of controls on there, and I'll show you a close-up of this in a minute. You can adjust the volume right here by spinning this dial. You can also mute the button, I should say mute the microphone, by tapping that little icon above it that has a microphone on it. So for me, when I use it on the desk and I'm on a conference call, I know immediately if the microphone is live, I know what the volume levels are, and I can also mute it really quickly if I have to take a drink of water or I've got a cough or something like that I don't want to have it come through on the conference call. So I love the fact that they build all those controls into it. Now, a couple other things I'll show you on the close-up, which again are attention to detail, but I notice things like this because a lot of companies make microphones for your desk, right? Let's face it, all of us are working from home more often than going into the office these days. So we've all tried to improve our technology to make us sound better and look better at home. So when Simorr called me and said, hey, we've got a brand new microphone coming out, would you like to take a look at it? I always like to look at new products. I said, sure, send me the microphone. I'll give it the once over and let you know what I think of it. I always look for small details. So the cable, which is something you might miss, isn't just your standard USB-C to USB-C cable. It is a USB-C connection on this end, but when you plug this into the side of the microphone, they could have just sold a generic cable with the product, but they went one step further and customized the cable. So when you plug this into the microphone, there's actually a little edge right here that matches up perfectly with the side of the microphone. So cosmetically, it looks like there's no cable. It looks like it's connected directly to the microphone. That little small detail took the company some time to sit down and go, you know what? We could just jam a USB-C connection in there, but why don't we take the extra step and modify that flex underneath there, that strain relief, to include that little feature to it. This other end of the cable, again, this is just a great addition because they could have sold it as a USB-C to USB-C and plug it into your computer and good luck. But if you've got an older computer, you have to convert this to USB-A. So you have a couple of choices. You can go out and buy another cable, which is an additional cost, or you can buy an adapter that converts the USB-C to USB-A, but they thought of that and they actually built in an adapter, and not only built an adapter into the kit, but attached it to the cable. So it gives you the best of both worlds. Newer computers, USB-C connection. Older computers, you got a USB-A connection right there. So those little details are super important. All right, so in addition to that, the microphone itself is small. So you might look at it and think, boy, that can't possibly be that good. But I've compared it to other microphones that cost 2 and 3 times as much. And I have to tell you, the audio quality in this thing is fantastic. And it's because of the high quality condenser element they've got inside the unit. And they've also done a few other things with it to improve that cardioid pattern. Like I'd mentioned, sometimes you buy a microphone like this and it's a 360-degree pattern. And that seems great if you're doing an interview with somebody across the desk. But if you're using it for streaming or you're doing video conferencing on it, you don't really want the noise behind it to come through the microphone. So that special pattern, that radiation pattern they've developed with this, which is outlined really well in the manual, focuses all of that attention this direction towards me, and again, deprecates anything that I'm tapping or banging. So it's not noise canceling as much as it is noise rejecting, I guess is the term I'd use. And I'll show you some examples of that when I record with it. The last thing I'll mention is that a lot of these microphones take a really complicated setup. You've got to install software, maybe it'll work with your application, maybe it won't. This is completely plug and play. You basically just plug the cable into the microphone, plug it into your laptop, Windows immediately recognizes it, the Mac OS recognizes it, and you can start using it. There's no batteries involved that you have to worry about changing later on. All the power the microphone needs comes through the USB-C cable. So it's a plug and play solution that is incredibly simple to use. You can move it between laptops and home computers. So for me, at the price they're offering this, it's a phenomenal value and I just love it. I've been testing it for the last couple of weeks and I actually did an A/B comparison on a call I was on this morning where I had a more expensive microphone. I won't mention the brand of it, but I had that plugged in, and during the conference call, I slowly unplugged that microphone and plugged this one in and then said, hey, how do I sound? And everybody said, man, you sound better. What did you do? Are you closer to the microphone? It was the new microphone. So this thing is really good and I'm jazzed about it. Now, if you stay tuned, next I'll take a closer look at the unit and again, I'll explain all the connections and things you'll need to know about how to operate it. And then I'll come back and I'll actually do some testing here on my laptop and I'll plug this one in and I'll have to kind of blind it so you can't see what brand it is because I don't want to pick on those other brands, but I'll plug in a couple of other microphones and I'll do an A/B comparison, just a short recording so you can judge the quality for yourself. And I'll try to point out a few extra things that they've done with this product that really separate it from a lot of the other condenser and microphones that are on the market that you may want to use on your desktop. So stay tuned, we'll take a closer look next. Inside the kit, you'll find the Simorr Wave U1 microphone, a really nice weighted base that's got a soft material on the bottom. So when you set it down on a surface, it's not going to scratch it. It's got a little weight to it, so it's going to stay right where you put it. It's got a 5/8 thread right there. They include an extension shaft that you can screw into this, and then you'll screw the microphone in the top of it. And again, this is 5/8 as well, so if you want to mount this on a boom arm, you're good to go. They also include a cable. Now I want to talk a little bit about the cable because they could have very easily just included a USB-C to USB-C cable like a lot of the microphone companies do, but they did two things that I think are pretty special. On the one end that plugs into the microphone, you'll notice it's kind of a custom mold right there. Now again, they could have just given you a standard USB cable, but as I plug this into the microphone, watch what happens to the side of it. Now that looks like it belongs in there. They've actually built this to marry up perfectly with the contour of the microphone, and I think those little touches tell me that the company really cares about their customers. All right, on the other end, you'll find it's got a USB-C connection, which is used on most modern computers. But if you have an older computer or don't have a USB-C port open on your computer, they include a cable attachment that's actually attached to the end of the cable that allows you to convert that from a USB-C to a full-size USB-A just by plugging that in. So that means you can use it on newer computers that have USB-C ports or older computers that have USB-A ports. The last thing I'll mention is that it has a 3.5mm headphone jack in line with the cable. So if you want to listen to what you're saying over the microphone and pick up the audio from your stream, you can plug a set of headphones in right there. The cable's nice and long and it's also really heavy duty, so it's going to last you a long time. Finally, they include a full instruction manual that explains how to use the microphone and shows you what the cardioid patterns look like and how best to talk into the microphone and how you should be positioned. Now let's take a closer look at the microphone itself. You'll notice right here you've got a rotating knob, and that adjusts the volume of the microphone. And above that is an indicator that lights up once it's plugged in, and it'll normally light up like a lightish blue, like a whitish blue, and that lets you know the microphone is active. If you want to mute the microphone, just tap that. This will turn red, and that mutes the microphone. I love that it gives you a visual indication. A lot of other microphones, you'll push a button, and you're not quite sure if it's down or it's up. This one, you'll know immediately if it turns red, you're good to go. On the bottom is a 5/8 junction right there, and again, you can screw this into the bass just by spinning it on like that if you want to use it as a desktop microphone, or if you're going to use it on a boom arm, you can attach it right there as well. And that's pretty much it for the microphone. The only thing I will mention is that this is aligned with your voice patterns to be speaking directly into the microphone. You don't want to speak into the top of it. The cardioid pattern is out this direction, so you'll want to speak against this flat surface. And what's nice is you can adjust that as needed to whatever angle will give you the best audio quality. So when you plug it in, test it a little bit before you start your first stream, and you'll be all set to go. Now I'll do a quick audio comparison between the three microphones I have in front of me: the Simorr Wave U1, the Blue Yeti, which is a very popular microphone among streamers, and then finally the new Rode NT USB Mini. Now, to keep the test fair, I'll have the microphones about a foot away from me, and I'll speak in a moderate voice. I did want to mention the relative pricing difference between them, because that has to factor in your decision. So currently, as of December 2021, this one's about $45, this one's about $99, and finally the Blue Yeti is $130. Now, I know those prices vary and there's sales going on all over the place, but relatively about double the cost and almost triple the cost this direction. So it's up to you to decide if that difference in price is worth the difference in audio quality. Now, I want to do a tap test just to show you that it's connected, and then I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll move on to the Blue Yeti and see how that sounds. Here's the Blue Yeti. That way you know it's connected, and I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll have to judge the audio quality of this one versus the Simorr Wave U1. Now I have the Rode NT USB Mini connected, and I'll do the tap test. And now I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'll leave it to you to judge the difference in audio quality between them, but remember the pricing difference: about $45, about $99, and about $130. So it's really up to you to judge whether the audio quality in these two is worth that difference in price. Now, if you stay tuned, next I'll give you a few other things to consider if you're comparing this microphone to others that are on the market. I hope the closer look in those examples were helpful. Now, here are a few things to keep in mind when you're comparing this desktop condenser microphone to others you may be considering. And the first thing for me with any new product is the company behind the product. Now, SmallRig's been around for a very long time. They're actually legendary in the audio and video accessory space. I own a lot of their products, and every time I buy one of their products and I bring it in, it's always a notch or two better than the other ones that I was considering. So when I heard they were going to release a microphone, I couldn't wait to get my hands on this because I had pretty high expectations for what this product could do. And it delivers. It really just does everything they claimed it would do. And all the little things that I talked about in the closer look and in the overview are things that really excite me about the company, because it means they're thinking about me as a consumer, and they're thinking about the way they use their particular products, and they're building in little cool things into the product that take it a little bit further than other companies out there. Now, I'm not saying you can't find condenser desktop microphones at a lower cost, but you have to ask yourself, is that company somebody that's going to be here in a year? Have you ever heard of them before? Can you really trust their specifications? With SmallRig, you know you've got a company that's going to stand behind their gear, so that's a really important consideration. Now, with any condenser microphone, it's a really difficult decision to buy it, because unlike other products where you can read specifications, what you're buying here is a way to pick up your voice, and it's incredibly hard to judge both the bandwidth of what it picks up, the audio quality, and how it's going to reproduce your voice. But with this one, with the examples I showed you, when I stack this up against the other microphones I put it up against, I think it's as good or even better than one of them when I did the testing, and it's a lot less expensive. So if I can spend less and get the same or better quality, that's a no-brainer for me. A couple other things to consider. A lot of times with condenser microphones, because they've got an advanced cardioid pattern where they're picking up your audio, they require batteries or some type of external charger that you got to plug in, and that's just more you got to worry about. This one, they were able to engineer it to be powered off of the cable. So there's no batteries, there's no external power supplies needed. You basically just plug it into your computer and it works like a charm. Another key thing is that it doesn't require any kind of additional amplification beyond the microphone. Most condenser microphones work just fine, but some of them require you to really crank up the volume on your computer to get it working, and then you're picking up a lot of background hiss as well. This one also has an internal shock absorber, which again, a lot of the other microphones, because you can't see inside of them, they cut that stuff out. So they'll build it with just a condenser pickup that's mounted to the case. So if you tap it, you're going to hear that tapping. Now, if you tap it hard, you'll hear the tapping here as well. But I like that shock absorber because it means if I'm moving things around on my desk, it's going to be reduced or maybe even eliminated on the pickup going through to whoever I'm talking to. So I like that an awful lot. I also want to have a lot of control over what's going on with the microphone. Some other ones have knobs in the back or knobs in the front. They're hard to find. You got to kind of feel it out. This one's got a really nice dial on it that you can spin up and spin down to adjust the volume, a visual indicator of where the volume is, a mute button. You can tap it on the front. You don't have to mute it through your computer. I like that. The mounting is another key thing. This comes with a stand. A lot of them don't. You're going to have to buy a tripod on your own to actually mount it, or they sit on your desk. With this one, you can put it on the stand. You can also move it, like I said before, to a 5/8 threaded rod. So if you're using a boom, you can put it on the boom and have it come down this way. So they give you a lot of flexibility of how it installs. And then the last thing, and I may have mentioned this already, but this is super important, is that it doesn't require any software, because I want to use it on a lot of different programs. Audacity, I'm going to use it on Teams, Zoom. I'm going to use it on a lot of different applications. Maybe I'm streaming games or something and I want to have it on Twitch. You can't imagine me streaming games, but I do. Anyway, I want to be able to use it across a wide range of applications. If I'm forced to install software, that software has to be compatible with the application I'm using the mic on, and they're not all compatible. So you'll find that it may work on some, but not others. This one's plug and play. It's a native integration, if you will, to the operating system, which means on Windows, it just shows up as a microphone. Same thing on a Mac OS. So there's no hard time installing software and worried about all this extra stuff that may be bogging down my computer. You just plug it in and it works. You couldn't ask for a simpler microphone. So that's pretty much it. You can tell that I'm jazzed about this microphone. I know it's a simple thing that's hard to imagine a guy getting really excited about a microphone, but I'm spending so much time on conference calls and streaming calls and video calls that having a good quality microphone that isn't gigantic on my desk is a real benefit. And when I tested this one, I immediately fell in love with it, so I can heartily recommend it. Now, having said all that, if you have questions about anything I've covered today, or really anything we've covered on the channel, drop those in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, you know we're heading into the holiday season, right? And we always do a 12 days of Drone Valley Christmas giveaways every year, where I pick 12 days in a row, and I'll pick a product and we just give it back to the community. So it's a really simple contest to enter. You basically put your email in, we draw a random winner, and we'll ship you whatever we're giving away that day for free. We don't ask for anything in return. We'll ship it anywhere in the world. And we have 12 really cool products lined up this year. Now, I can't tell you what they are yet because I don't want to steal any of my thunder, but you know, who knows what's coming this year? Could be something cool. Might actually be something interesting as one of those 12 days of Christmas. So if you're on the channel, if you haven't subscribed, by the way, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss those. That's a lot of free stuff we're giving away, and you could win some pretty cool prizes. So anyway, that's pretty much it for today. If I haven't given you enough hints already, you know, just keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it. So I love reviewing products like this. I know it's not a drone, don't give me grief about that, but I play with a lot of technology, and when I find something this cool, I can't not talk about it on the channel because I'm excited. So hopefully you found this valuable and you're enjoying these clips. And until next time, stay nerdy.